What's up, gang? It's Keg from Nuke the House Sports Betting here to preview the field for Sunday's NASCAR Coke 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. First, obviously, Nuke the House is currently on the OddsShopper Tales platform. We're selling weekly and monthly NASCAR packages, which include subscriber and game betting shows to get you set for the upcoming NASCAR year. As always, all premium wagers are fully tracked on the nukethehouse.com website if you guys want to see it. We got a lot to get to today. But first, you guys have seen me week after week for 6 weeks straight wax poetic about how we have found horrific ways to lose, which is not normal for me because all I do is win money for the most part over the last 8 years that I've been doing content and the last 20 years that I've been betting full time. That said, last week, of course, when I don't do a video for OutShopper, Nuke the House absolutely murks. I picked up 40 units on the weekend. The majority of it was NASCAR, that we tied a lot of it to Scotty Scheffler in the PGA Championship. And we had a monster weekend. Um, Almost whole. Not quite, but almost. But I'm up 35 units right now in 2025. Could be 135, but it's a start. Hopefully, we continue this trend and we get in the right direction. As long as we see one go through the hoop this week, I'll feel very good about the remainder of the year. I just want back-to-back weeks where I feel like a normal human being again. But if we get there, I feel like the volatility is behind us and, we're off to the races. But really phenomenal week. Sorry I didn't do a video for you guys. I really didn't think it was warranted for the All-Star race. And then, of course, we go out there and we just absolutely nuke. So it is what it is. We move forward. It was a great weekend. Sorry that I didn't do the video for you guys, but we have the Monaco GP this weekend, the Indy 500, and 3 NASCAR races. What a weekend we have right now on tap. So let's get into it. We have a lot to get into. Your odds on favorite every week as we preview the field is Kyle Larson. When is he not the odds on favorite? Larson 6-1. I mean, what is there to say about the guy right now, especially in the intermediate package this year? He's been the best guy in the package basically since the start of 2022, but he looks more dominant to me in terms of speed this year compared to the last 3, really. I mean, much faster. Now, it could be that it looks like it's getting harder to pass the leader in this package this year compared to the last few. I agree. That could be a factor, but he's been one of 2 cars on track for the most part that can pass anywhere on the track. And I would put Ryan Blaney in there with him. And if he gets out front, it's basically been all over but the crying all year long, at least in terms of speed. The downside for him is it's usually he either wins the race or he crashes out trying to win the race. Now, this is a marathon. So much can go wrong when you're talking about 400 laps. Never mind the fact that he plans on driving 500 miles at the Indy 500 before he even gets on the helicopter to go to Charlotte. All this to basically say, the track's going to change throughout the night. Cars that look fast early in the race might not be great at the end of the race. It's happened time and time again in Charlotte. That's a real concern for sure. But I mean, that's for everyone, not just Larson. But all things being equal, he's got more speed than anybody right now on the track in the intermediate package, and he's earned the right to be the odds-on favorite. I will have a Kyle Larson ticket in my pocket. The problem is at 6 to 1, it's short. I think you really have to parlay that to something to get the number up, because at that point you're left in the same spot you're left every week with Kyle Larson. Do I bet him at 5 to 1 or 6 to 1, and then maybe I can get on one or two guys during the race, and I just hope for the best, or do I try to get that number up and get coverage? I always try to get that number up, and when you look at the results for me over the last 6 years, we went from making 70 units a year when we were betting straight to 200, 300 units a year when we start trying to get the numbers up on the guys that we think are going to be good. So I'm going to try to get the number up on Kyle Larson. I've already done that this week at Nuke the House. Um, it's very hard to bet the outright market if you're not going to have him. Ryan Blaney, 8 to 1. I'm not sure if Blaney is, starting to lose that mojo that he had earlier in the year or not. For about 8 weeks, he was without a doubt the fastest guy on the track by a wide margin. Lately, I have not been blown away by his speed, but he looked very good on the last mile and a half at Kansas. The good news for Ryan Blaney, he's won here before in the next gen era. He's faster this year on high speed intermediates at this point in the year than he was last year. And he's basically been in the top 10 in speed at every high speed intermediate track since the second Kansas race dating back to last year. I'll tell you what I like about Blaney for this week. Ford in the next gen era has run better at night when the temp drops and the track changes in these long races. That's not an opinion, in my opinion. That's a fact. So they're consistently driving towards the front after the track changes deeper as you get into the night in a long race. That makes me feel like it's not a bad thing to be in a Ford this week. If that holds true and Blaney brings the speed that we have seen, and that he had for about a 6-week span, he's going to be a major contender. He's going to be very fast, and I think he can absolutely win the race. When you look at his average finish here, you're not blown away. But like I said, checkers or wreckers for Blaney most weeks, a lot like Kyle Larson. And it's been a lot of wreckers, a lot of not finishing races, even in races where he's had the fastest car on the track by a mile. But I've bet him every week, especially in this package. It's impossible for me not to be on him. So I will be on Ryan Blaney this week, but I will be trying to get the number up. Chris Bell. Chris Bell, probably my dark horse of the week right now. When you look at the odds board, you say, why is he a dark horse? He is, 8 to 1 basically right now. I get that, right? But the odds are crazy. The odds are insane. When you look at his speed on intermediates this year, he should probably be twice that number. So if you're going to get involved with him, you really have to get that number up, probably twice the current number. He should probably be 13, 14 to 1, somewhere around there. Now, why Bell? Considering the speed blows right now on the high speed intermediates. Well, I brought this up a few weeks ago on our show. He as slow as he's been this year, he has been faster at every track in the intermediate package this year than he was last year, right? He's been faster at Vegas, faster at Texas, faster than he was at Kansas. And last year, he was the fastest guy on track at Charlotte. If that trend continues, he's going to be the fastest guy at Charlotte again. I think this could be a show up out of nowhere spot for Chris Bell in the intermediate package. I know he just came off the All-Star win, but that's a short track. It's in entirely different type of racing. And we know that he's been top two in the short track package for 3 years anyway. So I just feel like this is a spot where he really shows up with some speed and surprises the field in this intermediate package. So Chris Bell, I will be on him. I will have a ticket on him, hopefully at a number twice the price that he currently is. After the top three, that's my big top three. Um, Outside of that, I think everybody else is a contender. But I would put those three guys in that top tier elite. After him, Will Byron, right now, 8-9 to 1. Byron can win every week. We know that. He has the speed to win every week. But, it's been a while since he went out there, dominated a race, got the job done. Most of the time when Byron wins a race, he's running in the top five all day. Something ends up happening where he ends up picking up the pieces to end up getting a win. That's really the most common way that he tends to find himself on victory lane, at least over the last year. Could this be a race where that happens? Sure, it could. It's a race of attrition. People could fall out. Things could happen. He could pick up the pieces. That could happen. We're going to see some cars look great early and fade late when the track changes, and we might see a record or two more than we normally see on any given week with the extra 150, 100 miles. But in saying that, Byron basically has been a top four car in speed at every high speed intermediate track dating back to the second race at Kansas 2024. So, second right now in adjusted speed in the package. He's got a true average running position solidly in the top 10. He could win the race, but you can't bet everybody. And I could think of 4 or 5 guys that I'd probably back before Byron, but could he go out there and get the job done? 100% he can. Alex Bowman been the real standout surprise this year in the Hendrick package. We know that Larson and Byron are very fast every week since the new car debuted, but Bowman and Elliott struggled early in the car. Elliott got right the last couple years in the short track package. This year, Alex Bowman got right in the intermediate package in a big way, and you can't name 5 cars right now in this intermediate package on high-speed mile and a halves that are driving better than Alex Bowman. He's finished in the top 10, 7 of the last 10 races at Charlotte. He's one of these guys in that 20, 22 to 1 range that can absolutely show up and get the job done. Chase Elliott, pass. Joe Gibbs, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs. Denny's the only other car at Gibbs that I can even think will remotely contend for a race win based on speed. And if we're being honest, Denny is not even remotely close in this intermediate package in 2025 that he has been in terms of speed from 2022 to 2024. Denny is a question mark for me. He could show up and shock the world, but I have to see it on track. Briscoe and Gibbs, pass. Outside of that, the only other guys that I would bring up, Tyler Reddick, lightning bolt in the intermediate package every week, pretty much with the exception of this Kansas race that just happened, which was an outlier for him. He could show up. The price feels a little short, but he could show up and easily win this race. His partner at 2311, Bubba, I think Bubba is more of a top 5 to top 10 guy, but could Bubba show up? He's been solid in the package. So he could show up, but I think he's going to need some stuff to go wrong in order for him to get a win. Ford, Josh Berry, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and then RFK, the guys at RFK for Ford: Brad Keselowski, Ryan Preece, Austin Cindric. Sorry, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Preece, and Chris Buescher. All these Fords could show up, man. Logano could show up. Josh Berry could show up and possibly get a win. Late in the race, once this track changes, RFK could be coming. Chris Buescher has been solid on mile and a halfs for the better part of a year. I know that it's been a down year for Keselowski, but this is about the time where his car really picked up last year and he really started showing up. And then Ryan Preece, top 7 in speed at Kansas, at Texas. The guy's been outperforming anything that we thought he would do in this third Roush Fenway car. What I would say to you is, rather than bet any of these Roush guys, try to get the number up on Roush to win the race at 13-1. That's what I did. If you can get that number up in that 25, 30-1 range, you would have all 3 people. You don't have to individually bet them. But I do think that Roush will be a factor late in this race, for sure. But if I was going to give you my top 3 guys, it's not cute, it's not sexy. Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Chris Bell. I will have coverage throughout. You're going to have to head over to Nuke the House for that. But I would say my top 3 guys would be Larson, Bell, Blaney. And after that, I'd be looking towards people like Bowman, Berry, and the people at Roush. So that's it, boys. I will be back on Sunday morning for some prop bets for the Coke 600. Don't forget, check out Nuke the House on the Odd Chopper Tales platform, and I'll see you guys back here Sunday morning for some prop bets for the Coke 600. I'm out. Later.